The Epstein files are closer than ever to being forced into the public eye, but there is still a long road ahead. On Tuesday, the House passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act with a near unanimous vote, 427 to 1. And that lone no came from Representative Clay Higgins. His concern was that releasing the files could expose innocent people, witnesses, family members, and weaken traditional criminal justice protections. Now, that same night, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer asked for unanimous consent to approve the Epstein Files Transparency Act immediately once it reaches the Senate. And it had no objections, so this means the Senate will pass it without any changes. And after that, the bill heads straight to President Trump. So what does this law actually do if it is signed? Well, it would require the Justice Department, FBI, and prosecutors to release all unclassified records about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But there are still protections in place here. Anything that could identify victims, compromise ongoing investigations, or affect national security can be redacted. But political sensitivity, reputational harm, or embarrassment, they're not valid reasons to withhold documents per the bill. And once the bill becomes law, the DOJ has 30 days to release the documents. Epstein survivors have been pushing hard for this moment. On the morning of the vote, Representatives Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna, and Marjorie Taylor Greene appeared on Capitol Hill with survivors and their families. Many expressed gratitude, but also skepticism, worrying about redactions and whether the files will tell the whole story. Greene pointed out that around 1,000 women have claimed they were victimized by Epstein and criticized the last 5 presidential administrations for covering up these files. If fully implemented, this law could dramatically increase public transparency about Epstein's network, his connections, his travels, and how the investigations were handled. But remember, the law only covers unclassified records, so some sensitive information may remain hidden. It's also politically loaded. Epstein's case touches powerful people, and the release could reignite scrutiny. Survivors see it as a moral win, but they stress this isn't about politics, it's about justice. Massie and Khanna have been fighting to release the files, even using a discharge petition that allowed the House to force a vote without waiting on leadership or committee approval. Representative Adelita Grijalva became the 218th signature that pushed that vote forward despite delays in her swearing in because the government was shut down. Now, could ongoing DOJ investigations slow things down? Trump has called for investigations into Epstein's relationships with several figures, including former Secretary of the Treasury Larry Summers, former President Bill Clinton, Democratic mega donor Reid Hoffman, and certain financial institutions. Last week, the House Oversight Committee released about 20,000 pages from Epstein's estate, and among them were emails showing Summers sought Epstein's advice on pursuing a woman he called his mentee. In response, Summers announced he's stepping back from public roles, including leaving the OpenAI board, resigning from a fellowship at the Center for American Progress, and ending his advisory role with Yale's Budget Lab. Harvard, where he currently teaches, is opening a formal investigation into his ties with Epstein. Now, some Democrats, Representative Greene, and survivors groups worry that investigations could be used to stall or redact files, protecting political, academic, or financial figures until the furor dies down. Now, after voting, Trump wrote on Truth Social that he doesn't want Republicans to lose sight of the victories they've had, from border security to tax cuts and so on. The House vote is a big step, but it's not the finish line. The files could still be partially redacted, delayed, or limited due to ongoing investigations. We'll keep you updated as all of this continues to unfold, so be sure to keep up with our social channels, The National Desk.
Back to our top story tonight. The Epstein files have been given a green light for release, but that does not mean they'll be available for all to see. Let's go to Emma Withrow from the Fact Check team. And even after the progress in both chambers of Congress, Emma, can you explain the avenue that the DOJ could potentially follow to withhold certain documents?
Yeah, so the thing is, even though the bill forces the DOJ's hand to release all the files, the power still lies within the DOJ. Now, I know this seems kind of like, what's the point of all of this? But it's because just just a few days ago, Trump ordered the DOJ to investigate Democrats linked to Epstein. We're talking Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, and JP Morgan. So why does any of that matter? Well, there's a list of provisions written into this bill, the Epstein Transparency Act. You can see them right there on your screen. That specifically allows the DOJ to withhold the files. And one of those provisions is that if the documents would quote unquote jeopardize an active federal investigation or ongoing prosecution, so long as the withholding is narrowly tailored and temporary, they're allowed to keep them sealed until that investigation's wrapped up.
And the thing with this story is under scrutiny has always been timing. As far as those investigations into Democrats go, many have said, why now? What is the new information that is leading the DOJ to open up these investigations? What did you find?
Yeah, that's where critics are saying this is getting more politicized. So, you know, in a July memo, the DOJ made several definitive statements. They said they found no credible evidence of a client list or no evidence of blackmail operations. And they explicitly wrote in this memo, we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. The only new information that's come out publicly regarding Epstein recently was those 20,000 emails that came out last week that were released to House oversight by the Epstein estate. But there's really no confirmation that those emails are connected or led to the new DOJ investigation. So we're still waiting on getting some definitive information on what they're talking about when it comes to this new information that led to these new investigations.
All right, Emma, thank you so much. And for more on this fact check team topic, including links to their sources, scan the QR code or visit thenationaldesk.com.
President Trump says the truth about Democrats and their association with Jeffrey Epstein will finally all be revealed now that he signed the bill to release the Epstein files. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jan Jeffcoat. It is Thursday. It's Friday Eve, folks, November 20th. Already, the administration has released tens of thousands of documents, which the president says is a lot more than the previous administration. Trump posted on Truth Social, do not forget the Biden administration did not turn over a single file or page related to Democrat Epstein, nor did they ever even speak about him. Democrats have used the Epstein issue, which affects them far more than the Republican Party, in order to try and distract from our amazing victories, including the great big beautiful tax cut bill, getting trillions of dollars invested in the USA, creating the hottest country anywhere in the world, and even delivering a huge defeat to the Democrats on the recent shutdown disaster. Let's go to Mark Boyle at the live desk, giving us a timeline here about the release of these files. We know it's about 30 days, Mark. There's still a big question as to what new revelations we could potentially see. You know, there's going to be a lot of redactions in this.
I was just going to say, we're going to see these documents come out with just black marker through it, all the redactions. So you might not expect to get a lot in that 30-day period. So right before Christmas, we could see these documents rolled out publicly. All eyes now turn to the DOJ now that the bill has passed in the House and the Senate has the president's signature. Nearly every representative and senator voted in favor of passing the bill except for one. House Speaker Mike Johnson hopes this is the step in the right direction.
Overall, I mean, the bill has passed, Congress has spoken, and, you know, we did what was necessary. I hope it brings comfort to the victims and the survivors.
The release of the files will not happen right away. There are a number of steps the DOJ has to follow to protect the investigations that are ongoing, they say, as well as alleged victims. According to the Attorney General Pam Bondi, there's still an ongoing investigation going on in New York right now connected to Epstein, and there is a need to keep private information just that, private. The Attorney General says more investigations and charges are possible.
We have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
The president has directed the Department of Justice to investigate some of the ties Epstein had to high-ranking Democrats. He posted a message on Truth Social saying perhaps the truth about these the Democrats and their associates with Jeffrey Epstein and associations will soon be revealed because I've just signed the bill to release the Epstein files. We'll follow this for you this morning at the live desk, Jen.
Our team has got you covered. In an exclusive one-on-one interview, Jeff Harris talks with a lawmaker serving on the assassination task force, plus Kayla Gaskins with a look at the Democrats now under fire for communications with Epstein. And Emma Withrow digs into what's next with the files after the bill is passed to force a release. But first, we go straight to Ryan Smith at the live desk with the new breaking developments, Ryan, from the White House tonight.
Yeah, breaking tonight here at the live desk, President Trump announcing about 90 minutes ago that he has now signed officially the bill to release the files on Jeffrey Epstein. He said in a lengthy Truth Social post here tonight, quote, "At my direction, the Department of Justice has already turned over close to 50,000 pages of documents to Congress. Do not forget, the Biden administration did not turn over a single file or page related to Democrat Epstein, nor did they ever even speak out about him." He closes with here, "This latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats, just as all of the rest have."
It sounds like Pam Bondi has had this information at the same time that the president has still been calling it a hoax or a Democrat hoax. So not only are they changing their tune all the time, they don't seem to be singing from the same hymnal.
Take you out live over Capitol Hill tonight. That is where the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and that scandal, well, it moves forward. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer here issuing subpoenas to J.P. Morgan Chase and Deutsche Bank, compelling them to turn over Epstein's financial records. Both big banks there agreed to substantial settlements with Epstein's victims in 2023.